This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everyone. I am Chip McCauley, librarian here at Hickory Corner, and tonight is our highly anticipated poetry happening, Mercer Poets Read. We've got a great lineup tonight. This is our capstone celebration of National Poetry Month, which is very special to me, and I know that it's very special to you because you're here. Um, a few upcoming items of interest. This Thursday, I'll be hosting an author talk by Jonah Raskin, who is a performance poet and author of nonfiction and fiction. He'll be discussing his new novel, Beat Blues, San Francisco 1955, in which you'll see some of the real life Beat Generation writers and poets in his book. So that is 7 p.m. on Thursday. And then coming off of National Poetry Month, we'll be doing a twice monthly creative writing workshop virtually beginning on May 3rd. So without further ado, let's get to our first poet for the evening, Jack Pauliante. Jack writes novels, children's books, and poetry. He attended Bard College in the Hudson Valley, where he studied with the writer Neil Gaiman and the poet Robert Kelly. Jack.
Hello.
How
Can
you
you
doing?
guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to read this poem today because for the sole reason that it has library in the in the stanza. So it's called Nights Unflaming. Now it is less, the will-o'-the-wisp withdraws, texturing in absence the nights unflaming, most intimate suggestions. Nothing stirs now, nothing answers, and all language's provisions irretrievably linked. How little one reads the library of stones, firmed with knowledge, hauntingly silent. I hear the moon awake in every tree, unpronounceable and dark with intermissions, wandering music, the faint scar of sound in the dawn, assembling the soul. It seemed clear to me once that I would come here. I never remembered how to leave, never saw myself reflected in the long voice of the frozen river. I had no way to cross without also breaking the stars.
Thank you, Jack. Our next presenter is Rose Chang. She's a member of the Twin Rivers Writers Group. She's also an ESL student in writing in English through Literacy New Jersey. She also teaches Chinese and has been published in the New Jersey Association for Lifetime Learning on NJALL, and is posted her writing and her artwork on the Literacy New Jersey website. And she loves writing poems and sharing thoughts with others. Rose.
Hello, everyone. My poem is Spring Fun. Mist is in the morning light, hazy, scattered on the water. Trees are reflected in the pond, real as fantasy, like a fairyland. There are two ducks in the pond. One has a green head, another one has a brown, male and female. The green-headed follows the other brown one, and cries continually. He seems to say, "Marry me, marry me." The brown one doesn't care for him. She seeks small fish and shrimp. A blue jay is in the tree. He looks at all of these and makes a plan for himself. He looks west and east. eager to find a girlfriend. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. See, I'm used to hearing the claps or the snaps, the audience response of in person poetry readings. So this is a new type of experience. But thank you all, and I notice in the chat box there's some wonderful conversation going on about the poems. So thank you all for that. The next poet is Kathy Krejci. Kathy has studied poetry with B.J. Ward, Gene Hollander, and Anna Evans. She's a freelance editor and writer and lives in Hopewell Township. Kathy, welcome.
Thanks so much, Chip. My poem is Insect Hotel. A lady beetle does laps around a lamp. A stink bug overnights on a can of seltzer. The daddy longlegs, seemingly a voyeur, camps out near the bathtub. Moths, spiders, shield bugs, and beetles find cracks in the windows. Hornets wait by the door, gate crashers who sneak in when it opens. Are they drawn to a more civilized life, rushing in to escape the cold, or just looking for light, a nice place to stay for the night? Sometimes we gently escort them out, releasing them to a leaf or the air. Likely they find their way back in. More often we let them be. Even the cat has become hospitable. When he captures an insect in his giant paw, he gently turns it over to look at what's there. We look closely too. The cellophane-winged hornet pausing to rub its eyes, a gawky spider scaling the living room wall, the green caterpillar clinging to a vased flower, the box elder beetle who joins us at the dinner table.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Our next poet is Roseanne Baze. Roseanne is a retired Lawrence Township public school teacher. She is a longtime participant in a poetry and memoir group and has a published article in an anthology entitled The Magic of Memoir, edited by Linda Joy Myers. An amateur photographer, her photos often inspire her work. Welcome, Roseanne. Hopefully, welcome, Roseanne.
I'm here. Here I am.
There we go.
Thank you, Chip. Okay, tonight I'm going to read Identity Theft. Spit, the directions said. So I did. Into a tube it slid, slimy, bubbly, wet. Packed in a box, my history went to those who would label me for what I am, but who I am not. Proof that I am alive, have family, relatives, some who know me, many who don't. Days, weeks pass. Like snails on pavement, while conflicted, I wait for answers. I'm not sure I care to know. Who am I? Where did I come from? A reply arrives, a message from cyberspace. You are this, the note said, not that which I had taught. Cherished, loved, expected. Parts of me tossed aside, snatched by science. After bedtime stories, photos, letters, years of belief told me otherwise. What does it say I am? I don't care. I am the me I know, the me who is. Spit can't steal that.
Thank you. All right. Coming up next, we have Yamuni Patel, who is the author of the chapbooks Atlas of Lost Places from Milk and Cake Press and Breath, Fire, Water, Song from Ghost City Press. She is an MFA candidate in poetry at Antioch University, Los Angeles, and lives in West Windsor with her family. Welcome.
Thank you, Chip. I'm going to read a poem called The Ode to the Indian Grandmother. If you have an Indian grandmother in your house, Your friends may tell you that you smell of onion masala when you step out for a beer. She'll iron your underwear and rearrange your kitchen shelves after she sweeps out your garage floors. You'll get her directives on WhatsApp. Swab your mouth with glycerin for that cold sore, or drip coconut oil in your belly button for chapped lips. An Indian grandmother may cradle rocks in her chest. Still, she cackles and flies over oceans to sit rocking her newborn grandchildren all night. She'll cheat at cards with your kids, peel apples, pop oranges into their fruit-hating mouths. When your brown houseplants come back into bloom, you'll know an elder is rooted in your home. You can't miss her as she sets out to walk every morning. Child-sized sweatpants and sneakers, silver crown of neat hair, shining like an endangered bird. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next, we have Marion Pollock, who has been an educator, counselor, therapist, and writer in the Lawrenceville, New Jersey area for many years. Marion. I can see that you're here. We will wait.
Am I okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's start again. This poem is called Arrogance. A seagull with Vladimir Putin eyes slightly crossed struts by looking for prey. Proud head bobbing from side to side, eyeing our blanket. Steely, stealthy, diligent, he takes his time. With pointy laser beak, he steps boldly over the line to attack the chips. Everyone curses and screams at his arrogance and power, but he is gone. The rich march onto the beach with finest straws and dresses. The caviar-fed kids clamor behind, kicking sand on us without concern. Here's a good spot. I don't like it. Where's your good spot then? Right here. Am I invisible? Plop, plop go the Birkenstocks to hold the blanket down. Plop, plop drops the cooler. Twist, twist grinds the umbrella into the sand. Spray, spray goes the sunscreen, polluting the purest breezes. Alex, stand still so I can spray you. No, I want mommy to do it. Mommy is resting. Mommy is resting. I don't care. I want mommy. Scream, scream, stamp, stamp. Sand flies to my eyes. Little boy, please be still, I say. Mother awakens like a sleeping bear. How dare you yell at my child? I am silent. Wealthy grandpa lumbers over to join the party, very tan, very wrinkled, bringing a basket of toys. Yay, yay, grandpa is here. The fat, hairy belly jiggles above his shorts. Who knows what lurks beneath?
Thank you, Marion. All right. And also, additionally, Marion's a longtime member of a writers group where she shares memoir and poetry. She's published a memoir anthology entitled Grandma Tell Us a Story and Tales of a Daring Hypochondriac. So thank you for that. All right. Next, Donald Green. Donald retired from family medicine after 30 years of practice in Reading, Massachusetts. His wife and he now live near his three daughters, adult daughters, and their families in Pennington. As an ongoing member of a poetry workshop, selected themes are read to each other virtually every week. And he says it is the highlight of his week. Thanks for being here, Donald.
Thank you. I want to say, although I seem to have transplanted from Massachusetts, I actually grew up in Newark, New Jersey.
All right.
I went off to medical school.
Mhm.
But the poem I'm going to read tonight comes from a memory of a person I knew long ago, but now I know nothing about. And it's sort of a mystery and a loss to me that I don't know what he's doing. The name of the poem is Larry. From the moment he completed the dorm room quartet, shocked hair, pimpled face, slight, even soaking wet, ordinary, hailing from the greater Midwest, exuded a charm that any interactor was helpless to disarm. A year younger than we other three, in a room meant for two, still we found roughhousing pleasures to do. Watching him bounce off a wall from a hockey-like check, absorbing it all, re-entering fray, no fear of breaking his neck. His habits lifted him from any usual mundane scene, beautiful sketching, absorbing sparse study in between. Every day he went to a movie downtown. Another notch brightening, unfamiliar hobby, rejecting usual playground. Grades that topped in every course he took, from a once overreading any textbook. He sang, like the proverbial nightingale, another notch brightening his facade so pale. He wanted to leave the New Jersey State College, applying to Princeton, assured his knowledge would easily gain admission to that prestigious school. Sadness descending upon us, his departure would fuel. But soon after, a letter arrived from the Midwest. After a visit to his pastor dad and a girlfriend tryst, she, child heavy, passion upended, uncertain life twist. Best laid plans foiled, homeward he traveled, music to face. And that was the end, never returning, abandoning our space. Leaving me wondering what happened to Larry, so talented, decades ago met, and so early to marry. Is he alive, accomplished, defeated, world-saving fame? Would I be proud of him or left with ill-fated circumstance to blame?
Thank you, Donald. Our next poet is Canary Patel, who has been a pharmacist for 25 years and whose passion is theater. He's acted in a Hindi play, which is going to be run in Canada and Boston, and loves to write Hindi and English. And here she is, Canary Patel. Welcome.
Hello, thank you, Chip. My poem today is titled An Ode to Humanity. As I wake up to the cooing of the birds, seems like the morning sunshine has given them a new reason to fly. The sun caresses the morning dew on the rose petal. A tear drops down my cheek as I feel his soft touch. I'm truly blessed for the joys in my life. As I wonder how the sun forgot to shine on the other side of the world. The mayhem, the forlorn whispers of shh, in case they hear the baby cry. The constant mortar shelling, the cries of despair as one soul bereft of another. Another tear down my cheek. As I pray to God, the ultimate savior and creator of this world, give me a cloud or two. Let me feel the pain of loss, because I don't want to be happy if my soul on the other side weeps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Nancy Demi. Nancy is author of The Ride, a young adult novel. She has been published in US 1. Confrontation Worksheets, the Kelsey Review, Willard and Maple, the Patterson Literary Review, and the Foliate Oak Literary Magazine. She is a retired children's librarian and hosts the Twin Rivers Writers Group. Nancy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My poem is titled Baggage. He'd bought his ticket on the train, banging knees down the aisle with all his baggage. Thud, sorry, sorry, thud, sorry. Even though he swore he would travel light, his nose runny from the still air and BO, he took the seat by the smeary window. His seat with its incisions, repaired with black duct tape, he sat and pressed his luggage between his knees. The lady next to him knitting, the fellow across buried in the news. Old hands at this. He listened to the cell phone chatter around him, worried the other passengers would all get brain cancer. No, we won't be staying, could you? After all, Georgia, you promised. No, I'd die if you. He was in his glory, just another old man on the train. He rested his head on the headrest, the train accelerating, the voices dulled, the motion dreamy, surrounded by his surreal friends. The woman knitting held up the red yarn. My first grandchild, a boy, she said to no one in particular. The man across from her rattled his paper. He nodded, even though he promised himself he would travel light. A scarf, she said.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have Elliot Rubin. Elliot, I don't have a bio for you, so I will say you are someone who needs no introduction. So, Elliot, take it away.
Okay. This is an old man looks out at a golf course in July. I sit on my crinkled leather chair in an air-conditioned room as a hot sun makes elderly golfers reckless drivers in small electric carts trying to cool off from a faint, warm breeze. With failing focus, they fail to find them as they look for expensive white golf balls hit high over a mound, out of sight, onto the lush green fairway. The old men zoom around, ignorant of gray squirrels who run for their precious lives, like a rookie football player trying to avoid a tackle, except their goal is to survive, not score 6 points, as we all try to do every day in our finite lives. I wish my pals, dead in youth, dead from war, could sit with me today.
Thank you, Elliot. All right. Gail Mitchell is the author of 2 books of poetry, Makers and Keepers and Learning English the Cultural Way. She is a master quilt maker and also a retired New Jersey public school teacher who taught English to speakers of other languages. Gail.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Chip. My poem is called The First One. I sit in my recliner, feet up, gently ripping out a row of partially dropped stitches from my 5th Building Bridges Afghan square, as gentle-voiced Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson bears herself to the nominating committee, both sides. It's her 3rd consecutive day of questions in that august room, full of mainstream senators, plus 3 marginalized ones. Behind her always stands the rear view of the man in blue, ready to square off, pounce, protect her from any attempted assault. I sit here, finally put aside my knitting, eyeballs glued to my huge 65-inch smart TV, ears as open as I can get them. The man I met at an event at Jasna Polana, who signed my quilt honoring President Obama, begins saying his piece. Senator Cory Booker of my home state, New Jersey, acknowledges the imperfect founding fathers and our nation for going deep into the waters and pulling forth people of color and others denied opportunity and access. He speaks truth to power. You are my harbinger of hope, says Senator Cory Booker. to Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the very first one. I sit here in my recliner and whisper with him and Donna Brazile. No one is going to steal our joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. All right. Next up, we have Wilder Bellamy. And Wilder has retired from 35 years in IT, including 7 in a startup, which you know it's very fast paced, though not exactly social network. The poem he'll be reading is a companion piece to a science fiction item called Wolf 3.0, a dystopic novella. Thank you, Wilder. Can't hear your audio. Wilder, we can't hear you. Still can't hear you, which is strange. Let's see, can we fix Wilder's audio? Not sure. Wilder, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Or unless I'm the only one who can't hear you. We'll have to work on it. Well, I think Wilder is still reading.
Yeah, Chuck, I'm going to try to help him. Why don't you move on to the next person?
All right. Sounds good. Sorry about that, Wilder. We'll come back to you. Uma Shankar enjoys translating from Hindi to English and English to Hindi, and also teaches vocal Carnatic music at her local house of worship. Welcome, Uma.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Thank you. My poem is called Erasure, and it's an exploration into in a world which values growth and expansion and things just becoming bigger. This is my exploration into the opposite, if you will. Erasure. Bit by bit, where am I buried? Tooth and nail. Tiny supernovae blast my neurons away. Past and future fuse into this amoeboid mass. False feet moving, going nowhere. Agony, you ask? Let me first find me. Thank you.
Thank you, Uma. All right. Next up, we've got Bill Waters. Bill is a published writer of short poetry and compressed prose. He also runs 2 groups, the Poetry in Public Places Project and crossover collaboration, Wordsmiths and Artists Creating Together. Bill lives in Pennington with his wonderful wife and their 2 adorable cats. Welcome.
Thank you, Chip. A while back, I was feeling sad, so I wrote this poem to cheer myself up. A poem for myself. I know that you're sad right now, but time will pass and life will become wonderful again. Colors will be bright and every food will taste like sunshine. You'll feel the urge to reach out and the world will meet you halfway. Nothing is truly lost. You are not truly lost. Right now, though, you feel like maybe you are.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you to all our poets. Wilder, we're going to still come back to you. I'm getting some error messages on my computer. What I'm hoping to is now that we have done, just had a very, very powerful reading by our 14 or 15 wonderful Mercer poets, that we could open things up a little bit and talk a bit more about National Poetry Month, the importance of National Poetry Month to the poets, and I'm being reminded Danielle was supposed to read as well. I apologize, Danielle. Let's hear from Danielle. Who I sadly also don't have a bio from. My apologies. Yeah, I can't hear you either. Seems like we have some technical issues there too. Oh, I think we got you now.
Is this better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Nat, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great, great. I think it was the computer audio thing. All right.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Now I need to get my phone. Okay. All right. So I have a poem entitled Reflections, and it is dedicated to my little daughter who inspired it. So the sun drops the last of its glistening rays. Night sky envelops, mysteriously begging a question of the sun, who replies, "Do not mourn the loss of day, but say good night to that which came before." And all those moments watching you grow astound my senses as pangs of sadness taint the gilded memories, the passage of time creeping as the sunset, lights dimming, leaving the beautiful mark of memory, colors brilliant. What enters with the night? We do not know. Only the future tells what next brilliant sunrise will bring. For now we hold the last of dying embers, embracing uncertainty, wrapping like a shroud, to know this too shall pass to the glorious morning, when you will yet amaze me once more by simply being and filling my days with wonder. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. All right. Do we have Wilder back? Wilder, do we have you back?
I'm going to see if he can give a call in.
Oh, all right. That sounds great. Just let me know. So, National Poetry Month, and poets like to say every month is Poetry Month, and every day is Poetry Day. So it's wonderful to be here to celebrate with you the official National Poetry Month. Looks like we have Wilder coming up here. Let's see. Do we have audio with Wilder? Is he going to call? He may be. I'm not sure if he's talking to Laura or what. We will have Wilder. It's an inevitability at this point. We'll get him. All right. In the meantime, I was hoping some of the poets this evening would share what National Poetry Month means to them, even though obviously as poets you're working throughout the year. You're all motivated by different things. But it sometimes seems that National Poetry Month is the one time of the year where there is a great spotlight on poetry, which there's the perception that not enough people appreciate or exposed to. So I'm very happy that we're doing that tonight. So would any of our poets like to talk about National Poetry Month or the importance that they see of it? Perhaps Wilder Bellamy. Kathy.
I'll just chip. I'll say a little something actually. Yamuni Patel and I, for a couple years, we didn't do it this year, but we challenged each other during National Poetry Month to write something every day. And, whether it was a good line or a poem And that was always fun and a bit challenging because some days it was just difficult to find that time, but it really helped focus us and produce some poems out of that too. It was a nice way to celebrate it.
That's wonderful. Now a number of people here tonight are part of the Twin Rivers group, right? Nancy, that you run? Not sure if Nancy can still hear me, but
Yeah, if anybody is looking to work on any genre, which includes poetry, we always welcome new members. And we have about 9 members now. And right now we're doing it online. We generally used to meet in person, but because of COVID and other reasons, we decided to stay online. If any of you are interested, I will post my Gmail address and you can contact me if you want to, if I can figure out how to do that.
absolutely. And we can also promo that. Let's see. We had a comment from Gail in the chat about what National Poetry Month. National Poetry Month means hearing new and established poets, especially eco poets. Wonderful. Now we've had a lot of wonderful comments in the chat box, so I hope you were all following through the evening. A number of you are also in groups. If any of you would like to discuss your group while we're still getting Wilder up and running. And Nancy has posted her email, which is nanc.c.demme@gmail.com. And that's for the Twin Rivers Writers Group. And Wilder says he's about to dial in. It's highly anticipated at this point. Wilder is, for those of you still tuned in at home, asking for access code. Everyone can read that. Very nice. It's become an adventure now. Canary says, to me, it resonates with poets I grew up listening to, William Wordsworth, Shelley, Robert Frost, etc. Very true. We will not rest until Wilder has spoken. And thank you for your patience while we work out this technical error. One thing I wanted to promote tonight is the Teen Advisory Group's MCLS Tab Zine. So we have the Teen Advisory Board, and oh, someone says, could Wilder copy and paste his poem in chat? That's an interesting idea, Wilder. If you can hear us, and I could read it for you. But their zine, which just came out today, is the theme is poetry, and we have many up and coming poets who are also. Oh, I'm hearing myself. I'm not hearing Wilder. It's me. It's self-referential.
Wilder, if you could turn off your speakers, then we'll be able to hear you, and I can unmute caller 3. Okay, try it again, Wilder.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank goodness.
Okay.
Got a good echo
what
going
about
on
the
there.
echo?
It's things are getting a little psychedelic here, Wilder.
Wilder, if you could turn your speakers down on your computer, then we won't get the feedback.
But meantime, while we for Wilder, I would like to call your attention to the MCLS Teen Advisory Board zine, and it comes out quarterly. But I wanted to read a poem by a student named Lena, and it's called My Original Poem. Tears are like the scars on the heart, reminding one of the world they live in. Fragile like glass, they are trying to tear apart. Some futures are determined by the inescapable past. The sides are always blue. The skies are always blue. The day's the same. So why, when all look, they don't know their name? The hate they adopt is the gate towards the heart where it stopped. The happiness they stole, at least they didn't reach their soul. So I thought that was lovely, and something that was just published today on our zine. It will be updated on our website as well. Before I read some more of our comments, Wilder, are we good to go, Laura? Well, I feel like I should almost order Wilder a pizza just as a reward for persistence.
I'm going to try him again.
Hear me?
Now we can hear you.
We hear you.
Okay. All right. A phone poem. I don't know if that rhymes. Okay. H.G. Wells' The Time Machine gets a sequel. And it starts with a Shakespeare line, cry havoc and let loose dogs of war. And that's from Mark Antony's speech to Julius Caesar. And Mark Antony is still with us today. When I was reading The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, in the process of researching another sci-fi author of his time, or just proceeding, with my last name, something sprang up and slammed into my head like an angry earworm, and I slipped into an obsessive vision, brain filling up with The Sack of Rome, Kristallnacht, and January 6th, 2021. I'm wired that way. I can't help it. And this vision is pulling me into the future. Everything is crazy. The AIs watch and laugh and laugh. The singularity, if you know what that is soon to take over. And the death of work is being accomplished. And in my mind, at last, H.G. Wells smiles and speaks to the apocalyptic scene before him. This needs work. That's my ode to humanity.
Thank you, Wilder.
Okay, by phone. Yep.
Yes, fantastic.
Okay, thank you for waiting.
Thank you. So we have a few more comments. Yeah. Wilder, you are now off again.
Okay, let me see. I'm quiet, so I didn't say. And a few more comments. Oh yes, the lead-in. Sure. This is one of two companion works. They're both on Wattpad, if you know what it is. And the other is a sci-fi novella called Wolf 3.0.
And people can get that at wattpad.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. And it's kind of a funky looking website, but what's other noteworthy about it is the resident genius there is Margaret Atwood. She judges the contest.
Very nice. Well, it sounds like something we should all check out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Wilder.
Okay, thanks to you all.
All right, there are a few more comments about National Poetry Month. One from Uma. National Poetry Month, various journals cover new poets and new forms of poetry, which is always exciting to learn. Very true. And Donald said, I'm making National Poetry Month national, and some of my Massachusetts poets have joined this program. Joined the program. Well, welcome to you all. And I thank them for their support. And Yamuni says, I've been visiting a couple of New Jersey high schools to read poems to them for National Poetry Month. So many, many wonderful things going on in the poetry world. As fate might will it, I actually forgot my poems today because I was so focused on making sure we were organized for tonight. But one comes to mind that I will try to recall from memory that goes back to the beginning times of the pandemic, when many of us were at home and yet still having meetings and such, Zoom meetings, and had to attire ourselves with sort of business tops and casual wear. And then sometimes, you would want to dress up, and people would have their dress up. Maybe some people would have dress up parties or something like that. But his is just a little fun one. Today, I wore pants. Today, I wore pants. For knowing how the world is, I don't know. I need to start over. I'm laughing. Anyway, today I wore pants. For knowing how the world is, I may never get a chance to wear pants. So anyway, that was the one I could remember for tonight. So I want to thank you all for your heartfelt verse. I want to thank the audience for coming. I want to thank Laura for the technical assistance. Everyone, as you know, keep writing. We're in a very special state for poetry. New Jersey is a very special place, as you all know, and all of you are keeping it that way. And as we can see in Mercer County, poetry is alive and well. So I hope to see you all at the writers groups, and I hope to see you all next year, hopefully in person. So thank you all, and have a wonderful night.